All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, wherever you are in this beautiful world. Welcome to our Tuesday morning Inner Circle Live session. I'm your host, Ryan Carthage. We'll be joined shortly by my awesome partner, Mr. Benny Allen and Ms. Casey Jackson. I hope everybody is doing well today. I apologize for my delay, having some technical issues this morning, but we are rocking. So, as always, let's turn off all distractions, prepare your minds and your bodies to engage as you guys always do. And for the courtesy of everybody on the call, please ensure that your mic is muted if you're not actively asking a question or making a comment. All right. So we're going to dive in. Drop me a 1 in the chat if you can hear me okay. All right. Beautiful. So, cool deal. Let's change the screens. Let's get to it. Screen's paused. Let's try this again. All right. Can you guys see my screen and trading? Let's try this now. Maybe not. What's happening here? Hold on, everybody. Let's try this one more time. Yeah. All right. Can you guys see my screen? Trading economics. Yes. All right. Perfect. So let's rock. So first things up, ECB, the Euro area interest rate. The ECB will continue its policy normalization path and will go as far as necessary to bring Euro area inflation back to the target 2%. President Lagarde said during a speech at the ECB's annual forum in Portugal. Lagarde confirmed that the net asset purchases will end July 1st and interest rates will be raised by 25 basis points in July. First hike in 11 years. At the same time, Lagarde stressed the central bank will be flexible when net asset purchases end and could reinvest some redemptions in bond markets where orderly transmissions is at risk. The ECB is preparing a new anti-fragmentation tool to help tighten widening spreads among countries such as Italy and Spain, where bond yields soared since the central bank took its more hawkish stance in June. Still, the new instrument will have to be effective and proportionate at containing sufficient safeguards to preserve the impetus of member states toward sound financial policy or sound fiscal policy. So ECB is getting hawkish, right? So we're going to see an interest rate in July for the euro. Okay, so the ECB is taking this hawkish stance or more hawkish stance. 25 basis points isn't a huge number. However, it's a change, right? That is something we will have to pay attention to, right? When we're looking at those euro pairs, okay? So we'll keep our eyes on those. We'll take a look at them as we move over to the charts. Then we got oil. Oil prices rose for the third straight session on Tuesday, with WTI crude futures trading above $111 per barrel amid reports that the UAE and Saudi Arabia are producing near capacity, while political unrest in Libya and Ecuador threaten to tighten supply further. UAE Energy Minister Suhail al-Mazari said Monday that the country was producing near maximum capacity based on its quota of 3.16 million barrels per day under the agreement with OPEC. Meanwhile, Libya's National Oil Corporation said Monday it might have to declare force majeure in the Gulf of Sirte unless oil terminals they resume operate oil terminals there resume operation, while Ecuador's energy minister said the country could suspend oil output completely amid anti-government protests, right? Meanwhile, hopes of a revival of demand from the world's second largest economy rose as China continues to ease COVID-19 restrictions. It's a big note as well. Okay, so last week we talked about President Biden having conversations with other countries or other oil producers to increase their output. The UAE and Saudi Arabia were two of those countries. Libya and Ecuador were also part of that conversation, I believe. So it's not happening at this point, right? The UAE and Saudi Arabia can't produce anymore, right? So that thought of bringing oil back down by increasing production was really a no-go, okay? So we'll continue to watch, and it's interesting how that's no-go at the same time that China comes back to the forefront and says, hey, we're easing these COVID restrictions. That outbreak wasn't as bad as we thought it was going to be, right? So we had this nice retracement in oil. Now look for price to continue to rise, potentially, all right? So we'll keep our eyes peeled there as well, okay? The other thing to take a look at and keep your eyes peeled on is we had a rise in, there's a rise in steel, right? As China bounces back and starts to do their thing. Iron ore, price in iron ore cargoes with 6.3% iron content for delivery in Tianjin rebound towards $125 per ton, right? A level not seen in almost 2 weeks on solid demand prospects amid easing COVID-induced restrictions in Shanghai and other Chinese cities. Several steel makers are due to restart production, idled amid declined margins and insufficient demand to replenish inventories, right? Still lingering worries that the global economic slowdown triggered by aggressive tightening from major central banks could dampen metal demands, should limit any significant upside in prices in the months ahead. So currently, iron ore is pressing to the upside. Iron ore, primary commodity for Australia, right? So could see a little boost in the Australian dollar, be it you're looking at it being temporary, okay? But we'll watch that as well. Their primary trade partner is China. China is getting back in action, which is allowing movement in those commodities, okay? So we'll keep our eyes peeled on that as well, okay? So China opening back up. China is also the primary trade partner for New Zealand as well, right? So could see a little bit of movement as we see us push a little bit into more of a risk on sentiment, be it potentially temporary, okay? So over to Forex Factory. Here we have, so this morning, right? Christine Lagarde spoke at this conference, central banking forum on central banking, right? Christine Lagarde spoke there. We have the G7 meetings happening as well, which investors are watching both of these meetings. So we're gonna see some, or we have seen some consolidation in the markets up until this point, right? We got consumer confidence for the United States coming in today at 10 o'clock. Crude oil inventory for the United States coming in today as well. Royal Bank of New Zealand statement of intent coming in this evening, okay? Now, tomorrow is going to be a very, very, very interesting day, right? We got OPEC meetings happening. We got FOMC member Mester speaking, final GDP for the quarter. for the United States. But then right here, we got President Lagarde, Governor Bailey, and Fed Chair Powell all speaking around the same time at this central banking forum in Portugal, right? Policy panel. Okay. So Christine Lagarde made some comments this morning, so we can anticipate that they'll make even more comments tomorrow, right? So investors are eyeing tomorrow's conversation as potentially important, along with these G7 meetings that are occurring this week. Okay, so we'll keep our eyes peeled to see what comes out of those meetings, what's said. Christine Lagarde then is speaking again at 11 a.m. Then on Thursday, we have core PCE coming out for the United States. Another inflationary measure that's key for the dollar, because this tells us personal consumer expenditure is what that stands for. And this tells us how much consumers are spending, right? How much consumers are spending. That's the key one that the Fed is looking at to see if inflation is starting to ease. So investors are also watching that number as well. Okay. And then on Friday, we have ISM manufacturing PMI, which will also be a key number as well from a manufacturing perspective, right? So we got a busy week, right? Got a busy week. Won't really get kicked off until tomorrow, but we could see some major volatility happening. All right. So risk appetite, we dropped a little below that 20 mark at 17.52. We'll continue to see how things go from a risk on, risk off perspective. All right. So any questions from a fundamental side of things? No?
No.
All right. All right. So let's dive in. We'll start from the dollar, take a look at oil, and then we got a lot of consolidation happening. So I want to take a look at the pairs that have really been moving are those yen pairs. And I want to take a look at some of those as they're coming into interesting spaces. All right. So first off, the dollar, right? It's just sideways, trying to push up now, but we've just been moving sideways here, right? It's on the 4-hour chart. That's the fib there. It's just been pushing sideways. We'll see if we get wicks out of this candle here, but it's just been moving sideways as as investors are eyeing some of these key conversations that are happening over in Europe. Okay. Yeah, so if we drop down to the 1 hour, you see it a little bit more closely, and you see it's literally just there, right? So we'll see if we get this push, we get a close above this level, and then we'll see if that will continue to rise, okay? But we could see this consolidation continue. All right, so that's the dollar. Take a look at oil. All right, and we got this nice push. This was a key level that Desi was watching, right? Between 108, 109, Joy as well with the pivots, right? And we got to push above. We got to break through our trend lines. We got to push above that level. We got to close. And now we're trying to continue to push higher, right? So we'll see if we get a sustained push or if we get a little bit of a pullback here, all right? A little bit of a pullback to retest that zone, potentially give us a shallow crown pattern here. Right, as we broke through that level, see if we get a shallow crown and then a push up like so. All right, so we'll continue to watch oil, but trying to push to the upside. We'll see what those oil inventories come in looking like and see if we get any other catalysts that will push oil to the upside. Continue. Okay. Any questions there on oil? No. Yeah, does it looking good? Looking good. So we'll see if we get that retest and that continuation to the upside there. All right. So that's oil. I want to take a look at this UJ. So I'll take a look at UCAD real quick. We're looking at this for potential reversal, right? If price broke above key levels and broke through the trend line. And you see we got to continue to push to the downside, right? Just coming deeper in this AB boundary on the daily time frame, right? So we'll continue to watch this. We're coming into some previous consolidation zones here, right? We had we broke through that level there. We had support level here. Okay. And we had a previous support level here. Right. So we'll watch these levels to see as price is pushing down, okay, to see if they hold, right? Give us a deep retracement here on the daily time frame and see if we get a pushback to the upside. So we'll continue to watch as long as price stays below that trend line. We'll allow it to stay below that trend line. All right. This is on the 4-hour chart. So as we drop down to the 1, see it just a little more closely, right? Our fibs flipped on us. So fibs will come to the downside here, right? Like so. And you see shallow retracement, price pushed down to this 118, 127 zone, right? Let me go back to the daily real quick. On the daily, we will mark out these deeper retracement levels. Oops. There we go. That looks different than what I just had. Let's see. What did I just have, you guys? Let's see something here. Oh, I was on the 4, that's why. So on the daily, we're pushing deeper, right? On the daily, we're pushing deeper into the zone. Let me take this off for a second. So we're coming into a 50% retracement here on the daily time frame. On the 4-hour is where I wanted to look. Here. Right here. There we go. So on the 4, this is where I wanted to eye, right? So we got sitting at a 786 retracement right now, right? Could potentially push deeper into this zone. Okay, so we'll mark out this 86 retracement level. We'll put this line here, turn it to green, right? So that's our 86 level. And we'll do this. Okay, we'll keep that on there. We'll take these back off. We'll go down to the 1. Oh. I'm making this more difficult this morning. My bad, guys. We'll just copy it. That's our 4-hour fib there. Bang. All right. We'll take off the smart fib. Maybe. Let me refresh. There we go. All right. So now, watching this zone here. Okay. Watching that zone there. So we'll run our fib from the top to the bottom on the 1. Okay. As we're in this up retracement zone on the daily and the 4-hour. Okay. There. All right. So you see your matching D extension comes in just inside that A boundary. Okay. So we'll see if price continues to press to the downside to get to the D extension on the 1-hour, right? If we get that, we'll come into that A boundary, and then we'll see if we get a reversal from there, okay? That's how we're looking. So as long as price stays below the trend line, allow it to stay below the trend line. We could get this push up, right, to retest that trend line and get another push to the downside in favor of the CAD as we move throughout the day today, as the dollar could continue to bounce back and forth, right? So we could see this push here. So be patient on this one, allow it to make its move down, right? And then see if we get that reverse and that U-turn at some of these previous support levels, right? Previous support level. Okay, right in line with that daily, that 1-hour D extension. Okay, so that's the dollar CAD. We'll keep our eyes on it, allow it to push down. Okay, Any questions on the dollar CAD? No. Okay. Cool deal. Whoops. Cool deal. We'll keep our eyes peeled there. Let's take a look at this UJ. This dollar yen, right? So we talked about last week, investors eyeing this $140 level, which we're a little ways away from. Okay. Little ways away from, but we got some back and forth happening in the market, right? So we zoom out to the daily time frame. Take a look at this overall. It's been a strong push to the upside, right? Strong push to the upside. But what we got is a shallow retracement, and now we're getting this consolidation at this monthly resistance level, right? So what we could see, right, is price continue to rise. Okay, we'll keep our eyes peeled closely on it, but we could see this continue to rise and price to push up. Okay, if the dollar continues to press to the upside, that could also cause that push in this rally against the yen to potentially continue. Okay, so this is what we're looking at here on the daily time frame, price pushing to the upside, right, off a shallow retracement. We drop down to the 4, zoom back out. Okay, come back down. So, all right. So on the 4, take this off. Right, we got a 30-2 retracement, right? The D extension on the 4-hour comes in line with that daily D extension level. Okay, comes right in line with that daily D extension level. So we could see this happen. We did get a close above, and we have this consolidation now, right? So what I'm saying is we could see a continued push to the upside and a run against the yen a little bit further. Okay, we'll see if price continues to push to that D extension and that 4-hour, and that $140 level. Okay, so this is another one, right? As long as this one stays above your trend line, allow it to stay above the trend line, right? And we'll take a look at some of these other yen pairs and some key levels that they're coming into. We could potentially see some escalation in this price, right? Strong advancement over the next couple of days to see this thing push higher. Okay, so that's the dollar yen. We're going to look at it from that 4-hour perspective. Okay, from the daily, right? It was a new AB boundary. That $140 level comes in. Make sure that's right. Let me clear this off, but I believe that comes in around that 118, 127 zone. Okay. Yep. Right. So your 118, 127 on the daily time frame off the shallow retracement is also in line with the 4-hour D extension and this $140 level. Right. So we got some confluence here. So we'll watch this zone. We'll watch that zone, right, as price pushes to the upside. Okay. So daily 118, 127 zone, 4-hour. We got a D extension. Okay. And we got the $140 level that the Bank of Japan is keeping their eyes on, and the financial ministers to see if price gets there and see what happens there, right? And they could then make a decision to intervene and make some different decisions. All right. So that is the dollar yen. Questions here?
No.
Oh, all right, cool deal. Let's take a look at the other one on this side. We'll take a look at the New Zealand yen, right? And this one is just consolidating, similar to your dollar, right? Just consolidating, moving sideways. We got a break of our trend line, trying to push to the upside, right? But we're stalling here. Okay, so we'll see if we get another push, right? Give us a nice deep retracement here on the 1 hour time frame, but it's just been moving sideways. Okay, just been moving sideways. If we bounce out to the daily time frame, we'll see that even further, right? It's trying to give us a retracement, but it's not able to really push, right? So kind of tracking the same as the dollar from that perspective. Okay, if we run our fibs on this one from the bottom to the top on the daily, we'll see we're still sitting in this zone around that double top. We got a double top here and we're getting a retracement. So we'll see if this daily level continues to hold, right? If that holds, we could see a press to the downside over the next couple of days, depending on how these conversations at this summit in Portugal goes. Okay. So if we drop back to the 4, okay, that's what it looks like. Just stalling here, trying to break above this daily level. If it does, we could see that continued rise, which would fall in line with what the UJ looks like and that continued press to the upside, right? If it does continue pressing to the upside, we'll look at these highs in this daily level as areas to watch, okay? So we'll keep our eyes on it, but allow the consolidation to consolidate, and we'll look for a breakout in one direction or the other, okay? So that is the New Zealand yen, right? Moving similarly to the dollar, right? And got some consolidation, just inverse. Okay. So the Aussie yen, right? There was some movement here. So from the daily time frame, right? We got a 38.2 retracement. Price is pushing back up, broke above this daily level, right? We'll see if we come back to this weekly high, right? But overall, this is kind of the consolidation zone that it's been in. This is the top of the most recent consolidation zone. So on the 4, see this a little bit more closely. This is a zone that initially we were watching the smaller zone right in here, right? And price is there getting back to the top of it. This is the overall zone that price has been playing in, right? And we could see price press higher and come back to the top, right? Come back up here and retest this weekly level. If, right, we saw fundamentally iron ore getting a temporary boost, okay? And again, the dollar yen is pushing to the upside, so we could see continued weakness in the yen, which would play right into the thought process here of price at least pushing to this A boundary in the top of this consolidation zone, but potentially coming back and retesting this weekly resistance level. Okay, so we'll continue to watch this as it inches up, right? Could get a pullback and a retest and then a continuation, or we could just see it continue to inch its way higher. Okay, so allow this one to continue to press up. We talked about it over the weekend. We had some different opinions on the yen overall. Overall, my bias is still short, right, in favor of the yen, but we could see a higher push before we see that turnover and press to the downside. Okay, so we'll continue to watch that there. If we drop to the 1, see it in a little bit more detail, that's what that looks like. All right, so we're pushing to the A boundary of the 1 hour fib. Okay, so as we monitor this, we can just drop our trend lines. And as long as price stays above our trend line, right, we will allow it to do its thing. Long term, yes, I am looking at the potential of the yen gaining strength, especially as we continue to have the interest rate hikes and the potential of us moving into a recession. I am looking at the yen gaining strength over the long term. Yeah. And as we inch closer to that $140 level, we could see some intervention. But I think there's going to be a lot of things that come into play as price gets closer to that level when it comes to the interest rates continuing to be increased, investors getting more and more concerned in regards to the potential recession that we could be moving into. So I think we're going to see a lot of things start to come together from that risk off view, a risk off perspective. So over the long term, yeah, I am looking at the yen to gain some strength at some point. So right now I'm letting price continue to push to the upside as long as it wants to. But I am looking at some of these higher levels for potential reversals. And there's going to be more of investor uncertainty and risk off environment as opposed to, do I think the Bank of Japan will come in and intervene? I don't know, because they're really, really strong in their stance. Even though the people of Japan are becoming concerned, right? And it's hitting them pretty hard. They could still keep their stance, but I'm looking at it from a perspective of us moving into a risk-off environment and investors shifting their money out of riskier assets and commodities into the safe havens over the next 2 to 3 months. So that's the perspective that I'm looking at it from. Does that make sense? For sure. All right. So we shall see, right? We shall see how price responds to some of these higher levels. Okay. So that's the Aussie yen pushing to the upside, likely going to take out that A boundary, and then we'll get a new fib running to the upside, like so, right? New AB boundary there. Very little retracement, 118 and 127 zone. The extension coming in just shy of that weekly resistance level, right? So that's a little bit of confluence for us on this potential continued rise to the upside there. And then we'll see what happens when we get there. Okay. All right. So that's our level. I'll take these out for now until the A boundary gets taken out because it looks a little jumbled. So we'll try to clean it up and make it a little cleaner for us. Okay. I'll take this out as well. We broke through that. Now we're moving to the upside. All right. Any questions on the Aussie yen? No. All right. Cool deal. CAD yen again, right? Pushing to the upside, coming into retesting these monthly highs, right? We zoom out and see it. Still in this 118, 127 zone. If we break above, right, we could be headed to the D extension, but we got some traffic that we got to get through first. Okay. Strong push to the upside. So we'll see how price responds there. Okay. So as we drop to the 4, we look at this from a fib perspective. Okay. On the 4, we got a 50% retracement, right? But what's starting to form here is this Gartley pattern. Right? Whoops, that's not what I wanted. That's not it. Here we go. Okay. So as we come back to this monthly level, right, I want to see how price responds there. Okay. So I'm going to be watching this level closely, right? These two levels, this zone, very closely, right? We could see price inch up, right, into that zone a little bit more. It could even come to give us a double top there, right? Which again goes in line with the yen continue to push to the upside, right, against the dollar. Okay. So I'm going to be watching these levels closely as we move through the next day and a half or so, right? 2 days to see how the market responds. We could get a double top here, or it could come just shy to give us that godly pattern. And then we could see price fall off, be it even if it's in the short term, right? But as this is pushing to the upside, that UJ is pushing to the upside, the closer that gets to the UJ gets to that 140 mark, right? And then we could start to see some changes. Desi looking at 109. So you're looking at price getting to the 118, 127 zone and weekly. Okay.
Yeah.
I can see that. You're looking at it more from this this daily perspective and getting to the D extension then, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I'm with that. I'm with that. Yeah, we'll see how it responds, but it definitely could, right? As long as this this run against the yens continues, right? It could push higher. It's got some strong momentum happening right now. So we shall see. We shall see, right? So again, another scenario, as long as it stays above the trend line, let it stay above the trend line, but we're getting action to the upside, okay? Coming into some key zones with that 109 level that Desi's watching in the 118, 127 zone on the 4, okay? Joy TP hit, awesome, great work, okay? So as we drop to the 1, look at this a little more closely, right? This is another for Desi, this is where I get a little bit of confluence in my thought process, right? And I in these levels. So we got a D extension, right? So we got an 8-6 retracement on the 1, D extension coming here at this monthly level, right? And then could still get price to push a little bit higher there. If we drop a sub fib on this leg to the upside, right, it's overextended there, right? We don't have a swing high yet. So this is the 1 hour and the 4 hour is why I'm eyeing these levels first for potential reversal. I said, even if it'll be short term. But that's confluence along with that harmonic pattern. That's why I'm eyeing these levels here for potential initial reversal at least, and then we could see another push to the upside, right? So
okay,
we'll see though, right? We'll see how the market responds. We'll see how the market responds. Got a strong push to the upside here, coming into, right, matching the extension at this 106, 326 level on the 1 hour. Okay, so we'll continue to watch and see how it goes. We'll continue to watch and see how it goes. Okay, but that's the CAD yen, right? We can even bring another trend line in there, right? Momentum is really starting to pick up to the upside. Okay. Any other thoughts, questions on this CAD yen? Yeah, watch it close. Watch it close, right? These are going to be the two levels. This zone here, if it breaks through this zone, right, then Desi's level of 109 is going to be the next spot to eye for potential reversal from there. Okay, that level is also the D extension on the daily time frame. Okay, which is some confluence there on the daily, where I follow Desi's thought process. All right, so we shall see how it goes. Okay, so that's the CAD yen. The euro yen, right? Pressing back up here, coming back into the daily level. Didn't get to that 38.2 level on the daily, right? But we're pressing up. So here, this daily level is going to be key. This daily level is going to be key. See if price stays below. If price breaks above, we'll get to the D extension here on the daily, right? And could push to this 147.208 level. Okay, so we'll continue to watch it to see how it goes. Okay, but we got yen weakness still, right? Pushing to the upside. Coming into key levels though. Coming into key levels. This would be a third touch at that level, right? Triple top action here. Okay, so we'll see if it breaks through and presses higher. We got a 4-hour D extension coming in right here at 144.505. Okay. So we're in the 1-8, just shy, a little bit shy of the D extension on the daily time frame, right? Off of a shallow retracement. On the 4, we're coming into a D extension at just above this daily level. Okay. This trend line, we will shift it out. If I can grab it, there we go. We'll shift it out. Ultimately, this is consolidation right now, right? And we could get a higher high there. Okay, so move that out. Just want to, yeah, okay. We'll move that out, and that'll be our trend line that we utilize watching price to the upside, right? So as long as it stays above the trend line, we'll allow it to stay above the trend line, right? Get a swing high reversal. I mean, a swing high and a trend line break. Then we'll look for those reversal opportunities coming down, right? But I want to watch these yens as they're coming into key levels. Okay. So that's the euro yen. We'll drop down to the 1. See this one a little more clearly too, similar to that CAD yen, right? We got a 8-6 retracement here, right? The extension just above that daily level. The extension just above that daily level, right? So we'll see. We'll see. Coming into key levels and hitting extensions, right? 1618 extension here on the 4, and then the 118 level here on the 1 hour, right? So a little bit of confluence there. We'll see if price pushes up, gives us a wick and closes below, or if we get a strong push above. If we get a strong push above, we could be headed to these higher levels in the D extension on the daily time frame. All right. So watch this key level as well. Watch the key level and see what happens. Okay. That is the euro yen. Okay. I'm going over these because all of them are coming into key levels that I've got my eyes on, right? And we want to see how they respond. Okay. So I want us just to be aware of what they're doing. Then we go to the GJ. GJ, right? Clean this up some, take that out, take that out. All right, so here we got to that 38.2 level, right? And we're pressing back to the upside. We already got 2 touches at this weekly level. We're pushing to the upside. We could potentially get to that 168 level for a 3rd time. Okay, could get there for a 3rd time. We'll see. But price is pressing to the upside currently. Okay, as we get down to the 4, this is what this looks like. Okay, shallow retracement 118, 127 zone. We're getting this retracement that's happening now. Okay, it's pushing us back into that zone, right? Back into that zone. So we want to see how far does price push up, right? Do we get a new high to form here, right? Or does price stall in this 118, 127 zone here on the 4 hour? Okay. Zoom out and see it, right? The double top action there, right? Do we get a 3rd touch of this weekly level? This is the level I'm keeping my eyes on there. Okay. We got a daily level here that I didn't mark out right here. It's a daily resistance level. So that's your zone, right? There we go. Right. So this is your zone to keep your eyes on. Drop down to the 4, right? Right in here. Right in here. And we'll see how price responds. Okay. See if price pushes up in here and gives us some consolidation, and see if we get a reversal. If it does not, right, we'll see a break and a continuation to the upside, right? We got some higher levels there from the daily time frame and the weekly time frame. If we break through this level, it's going to be a long road getting to this 175. Okay, so these levels are going to be key for us to watch. It's going to be very key for us to watch. Okay, because like I said, if they break, it'll be a long road to the upside of that 174 level. It could be continued deterioration of the yen at that point, right? So we'll keep our eyes peeled here as price pushes to the upside. As we go down to the 1, this is what this looks like here on the 1 hour. Well, shallow retracement. Didn't quite get to the D extension, right? Got a push to the downside, couldn't break out below the support. Now we're pushing back up, right? So this could look like a double top scenario if price stalls in this zone. Okay. Get to that D extension here on the 1, right? Push into that zone, and we'll see how price responds from there. Okay. So again, right, shift the trend line out as we push back into the zone. So we're in this range. We're in this range right here. Okay. Came to the bottom of the range, pushing to the top of the range. So we'll see what happens once we get up there. All right. So that is our pound yen. Pushing up, and we'll see how it responds. Okay. Like so. If you wanted to get a tighter trend line coming up, it'd be like that. All right. So that's your pound yen. So we'll watch it as it gets to the top of the zone then. Okay. Take a look at this Aussie Swiss real quick. I'm sorry, any questions on the pound yen?
No.
All right, cool deal. So this Aussie Swiss, right? So from a daily time frame, we've been watching this and looking for a retracement to come. Price push down, got to our D extension. We don't have a swing low just yet. The close of today, if this candle closes above, we will, and our new fib will look like this on the daily time frame. Okay. New fib will look like that on the daily time frame. Just shy of this daily support level, right? And that'll give us a new daily support level, here. All right. So that's the daily look. We got consolidation, and really we have consolidation all throughout the market right now as investors are waiting to see if they get any hints from the central bank. Okay. You see here on the 4, price was pushing to the upside, but could not close above this level, right? Could not close above this level. So this is the consolidation zone that we're watching. Okay. We want to break out of this zone, right? Had a trend line coming through. The outermost point pushed up, but stayed in. So we're going to shift it out. We're going to shift that trend line outside of the consolidation. We want a strong bullish break, and we want that to break out above this high here. Okay. So we want that to look like this. Trend line break above this 66611 level. Okay. If we get that, then we could be in for that move to the upside, coming to our levels here on the 4. Okay. But beautiful setup. We're getting the consolidation that we like to see in this zone after shallow retracement, right? So now it's just being patient, waiting for that trend line break to give us that confirmation that price is pushing to the upside, right? So just be patient here and allow the market to do what it's gonna do. Okay. Here on the 1, you got a similar look. Shallow retracement, 118 and 127 zone, and this is that consolidation, right? So we want to see that strong break to the upside, outside of the level. Okay. Retest, and then that push. Okay. So that's where we are on the Aussie Swiss. It's just about patience here. Just about patience here. Allow it to do its thing. If you're in it already, allow it to do its thing and allow price to push when it's ready. Okay. Questions here? No. Okay, cool deal. Euro Swiss. Similar thing, right? Check this out. Check this out, right? So here on the Euro Swiss, been pushing to the downside. Okay. Came into this weekly support level, and we're getting some consolidation, some hesitation here, right? We'd love to see this over the long term, press the downside, but the euro is about to get a boost, right? So we'll see if we get a push to the upside here. Okay. We already got a deep retracement, but we could see another push back to the upside after the strong move down, right? We come here to the 4, right? That fib got taken out. We'll flip these to the downside, like so. Similar to that Aussie Swiss, right? Shallow retracement, 118, 127 zone. And we got consolidation. Like that. Let's see this. 1 second. Okay. That'll come there. Right? We'll leave it like that. That's our 4-hour trend line, right? Could see more consolidation coming there. If you wanted to run another trend line, you could. It's going to be really, really tight on that, like so. Okay. Excuse me. But fibs coming to the downside here. Bang, right? See if we get this push, right? Be patient on it. Allow it to do its thing. We know the Fed, the ECB. We know the ECB has changed its tone. We'll see how these conversations play out today and see what other insight they give and see if we get this push, right? And give us a nice retracement back to this daily level at 103, 498, right? But we want to see that break first. We want to see that break first. So be patient with it. Be patient with it. Okay. So that's on the 4. We drop to the 1. Right, more the same. Right, you get that better inner trend line here on the 1. Take this out, shift this one out like so. Right, shallow retracement. We're getting the consolidation that we like here. Now we just want to see that bullish break. Okay, so on these Swissies, also be patient. Right, also be patient. See if we can get this bullish push and move to the upside. Okay. See if we get that bullish push. Any questions here on the Euro Swiss? All right, cool deal. I got you, Desi. Pound Swiss. I haven't cleaned this one up yet, so we shall see what it looks like. Pound Swissy. This is what we look like on the 4. Okay, let's see. Played out as we anticipated. Push up, retest, push to the downside, came to these daily levels. All right, so now this is where we sit. Let's go back to the daily real quick. So, okay. So daily time frame, this is our AB boundary to the downside. We had a nice deep retracement here, just shy of 61.8. Push to the D extension. Don't have a swing low yet, right? Price just inched lower and inch lower and inch lower. So we coming into this monthly support level, right? Monthly support level. We're overextended to the downside. Overextended to the downside here. Okay. We had some Swiss strength, right? With surprise interest rates, continue to push this thing to the downside, pushed us right into this monthly support level. Okay. So now as we go to the 4, well, on the daily, we're looking for a swing low to give us a new fib, right? Swing low, new fib, but at a very, very, very key level, right? New AB boundary at a key level is going to be important. Okay. So as we move down to the 4, right? Zoom out, take a look. Let's see. Those are to the downside. So we'll run our fib from here. from here. There we are, right? So that's back at that look that we saw. So this is our 4-hour look. New AB boundary. Tried to push deeper, right? Run into this monthly level. We got the 118 and 127 zone at another monthly level at 115,963, right? So we'll see if this monthly level holds. This is going to be interesting to watch. Okay, so drop your trend lines here. Drop your trend lines. And this is one that I like this key level. The pound is definitely been weak as of late. We'll see what happens. Governor Bailey speaking tomorrow. So it'll be interesting to see what Governor Bailey has to say tomorrow. But watch this. Watch this. If there's any hint at a hawkish tone, we could see this flip. All right. At a key level, new AB boundary. Yeah. So watch this one closely. Watch this one closely. Okay. See if we get a push. I'll drop down to the 1 and give us probably a tighter inner trend line here. But that's a key level. If we, and this will be something interesting to watch, right? On the daily time frame, if we get that swing low to form, right, in that new AB boundary, right, and if it closes above this 17321 level, right, so swing low on the daily, close above this daily level, that could be indication for me that price is going to ride at least back to this 19149 level, right? So this is what I'm looking at here on the daily. If we get the swing low to form, right, tomorrow, Thursday, right? Even if the candle tomorrow closes above that in a bullish fashion, right, that could be an indicator for me. We could get a pullback to retest that on some wicks and a push. But if we get a close above this daily level and a swing low here, that's going to be indication for me to for an entry and a ride to the upside. Okay. So on the 4 and on the 1, looking for ultimately you'll be getting that trend line break. All right. Bang. Okay. That's what it looked like on the 4. On the 1, we'll run our fib from the high to see what we get. But it'll be more of the same. Okay. Yeah. All right. Got that strong push down there. We're getting some indecision right now. Could be consolidation. If you wanted to draw a more aggressive trend line there, you could, like so. But I'm going to keep this trend line running down here because I want to see a break of that and above that daily level. Okay. So that's what I'm looking at here on this one. Good call, Desi, as price coming into that key level, right? If we get that strong push, right, we could see that ride to the upside. Okay.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So that's what we want to see here. Trend line break above this daily level, could be in for a ride to that next daily level at least. Okay. Any questions, right? And that plays into, right, this movement here as well. We got to that 38.2 level, just barely off of a wick, but I'm sorry, that's a 50%. So we got a 50% retracement, but we could be in for the daily fib to play out a little bit here. Okay. Like so. Okay. So keep your eyes peeled, watch, see how it goes. Okay. Honestly, Reese, I don't have a favorite one. It's all about which one meets my rules. Which one meets my rules. So all of them at some point will make me some money. So I like all of them. But it's more about which one is going to meet my rules, and when does it meet the rules. So that's what I'm looking for, as opposed to which is the favorite. Right, the favorite allows you to put some emotion into it, and that'll put you in a bad space. So, got to be rules based, not emotion based. So, we'll keep an eye on all of them and see how they move. All right. Any questions on any of the pairs that we covered this morning? So cutting down on the number of pairs that you're looking at, Reese, just pick a couple that you want to stick to, right? And don't look at the others. All of them move, but as we've seen, right, they move in cycles. Okay. Which is why we look at all of them. But pick you a couple that you want to watch the cycle on, right? And look at them over, let's say, a 3-month time frame, right? Pick you 5 pairs, right? Pick you 5 pairs. Maybe pick you a basket, right? So say you want to just look at Aussie pairs for the next 3 months, right? Just look at Aussie pairs for the next 3 months. Watch the cycle, see how they move, right? And then if you want to change from that, the next 3 months, look at a different basket, right? That's one way you can go about it, to cut down on the number, and it'll allow you to see how the cycles move in each pair, right? Understanding the fundamental side of it, and how all of it comes together. So you can look at it that way, or you can look at, or say you want to do a yen cross basket, right? So you got all of your euros, whatever. So, but still looking at it from a basket perspective. So that's, if I was going to cut down, that's probably how I would do it, is looking at just a basket individually. And that'll give you that'll also help you with understanding that particular currency and how it moves, right? And what drives it the most, right? From a fundamental perspective. So that if I was going to do that, that's probably what I would do, is just pick a basket and study that basket and how it moves, all of the fundamentals behind it, how it reacts to the different times of the month, right? We're coming into the end of the month, and we have these conversations happening tomorrow, right? And we're seeing a lot of consolidation, which is normal, right? Which is normal. At the end of the month, you see a lot of investors just taking profit on a lot of things and setting up for the next month. So that's what I would study, is a basket of currencies, all of the fundamentals that come into play, and where it is from the technical level. So that's my 2 cents. All right, good people. Well, if we don't have any other questions, greatly appreciate you guys. No problem at all. And we'll be back at it tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, for the Asian session. I will be hosting that session as well. So you guys have a phenomenal Tuesday. We'll see you tonight. Peace.
Thank you.
You're welcome.